Welcome guys, welcome. Thank you for joining, and for those of you who cannot watch at this time, just when you get a chance to take a look at this short video that I'm going to be doing, just going over a couple of things that have obviously has been going on. So I'm going to just really talk about, hey Jen, welcome. I'm going to just talk about staying grounded and the energies that have been working with us during this time. I would highly advise and just recommend you going on my page or my YouTube page to do the grounding and anchoring of peace meditation we did here the other night. It was really important and wonderful to be able to bring in all of those energies to ground each of our chakras. So if you haven't caught that video, you can go on my page. I'll repost it, I guess, after this live as well, but you can go on my YouTube page under Jen Post, Blue Star Channelings, and you can check that out there. I thought it was going to be like 20 minutes to a half an hour, but we literally lost time, and it was about an hour long. So if you have the time to sit back and relax and just take in all that information. So to recap, we had Melchizedek coming in to let us know about all of these incredible changes that are taking place, and the Arcturian energy also, as I connect to these very high frequencies to bring forth this information to you. And the message was that, you know, we've been preparing for this. We've been doing our inner work. You know, we're continuing to do our inner work, but many of us at these particular 5-dimensional frequencies have been really prepared to hold this space for when this massive transformation and breaking down. We've been having little increments of this breaking down of everything, all of our limiting beliefs. So you can see now that all these structures are now going to be broken down, and in order to anchor in this very high frequency light, which I have been talking about for a couple of years now on Facebook, this is where you have to go into that place of knowing and trust of what is happening with all of these structures. Like I said, I've talked about this in so many of my Facebook lives about us doing this preparatory work and being this bridge and this anchor of peace for when these structures were being broken down. First, remember, I said it starts with you. All of these things that you had to move through with your own inner structures had to be broken down so it can be built up, be that foundation for what is about to come. And I told you that in 2020 there was going to be so much change, and you know, through all of this chaos, this chaos that is happening with all of the change, Melchizedek was talking about we have this new world order. So the old world, that's what that means. The old world, the old system, the old way of being broken down so a new one can be in place. So this is all really divine timing. When you move into that place of absolute understanding and trust to what is happening, you move into that place and you go with the flow. So when Melchizedek was coming in talking about this new world order, this change in the spiritual laws, I'm just recapping of a talk that I did last week. These spiritual laws that once adhered to that 3rd-dimensional frequency, right, that so many of us were in, or, you know, the majority of mankind is in. How do we get a global world awakening? We have to strip down all of these foundations, and we had so much separation. Think about all of the separation, and you know, through what's going on with the virus, think about it. Remove yourself out of the fear and the separation and understand that This is part of the breaking down system. Everything that affects you is now affecting every single person on the planet. There is no more separation, right? Think about all the countries and all the religions and all the government bodies and military, all of that. That's what Melchizedek was talking about. That these systems are being broken down. There is unity now because every single person on the planet is seeing that what is affecting you is affecting me. Is the same thing that is affecting a person in, Pakistan, in, LA, and, all over the world. So that's what Melchizedek was talking about, this new world order, this having to be broken down, so these new spiritual laws, so we can adhere and align to the new vibration that is really now coming in. And many of you who do this work, we're holding this fifth dimensional light. That's why we've been busting our asses off in 2019, especially. A lot of us getting sick, a lot of us clearing, a lot of us purging, right? All so we can hold this fifth dimensional light. So the Hopis, I didn't talk about this in the last, in the meditation or in the last Facebook Live, but they've been coming in. I connect very deeply with the Hopis, and they spoke about this in their prophecy about a time of great change where all of this was going to be broken down. So between Melchizedek coming in, the Hopi prophecy coming in for us to anchor in this piece. The Hopi prophecy is, there's a big story and around it, and they were my ancestors who really came in and helped me through holding on dear life, because I was in total fear of change at every second. So what the prophecy is about is going with the flow of what is happening internally and externally. Okay, so what they were saying, have 1 foot on the ground, 1 foot in the water. The Hopi prophecy is going with the flow, letting go of the beds, the sides of the river, holding on to dear life, because this is what's happening now. We're in this massive change cycle. So having 1 foot on the ground, 1 foot in the water, being in this flow. Water represents flow, right? You have to be in that flow. Stabilize your energy and allow the flow of life, the water that you are made of, flow through you. I've been doing so many Akashic readings lately, because they're done over their phone, and it's just, obviously a lot of this information needs to be shared out for people. So they were talking about temperance. The alchemy in temperance is to stay calm in a state of chaos, okay? Another thing that was coming in is to try and connect to doing something that is fun, laughter, watching your old videos of your families. Yes, Samantha, I was tossing around. Samantha's asking to do a guided meditation to go with the flow. And I was tossing around coming on, doing a Facebook Live or doing a live drum, not a drum circle, but I guess you want to call it a drum circle, where I'm bringing in the Hopi energy, which I think I'm going to do tomorrow. So hi Stacy, good to see you too. Melissa's coming on. So look for that, whether or not I do it live or I record it in my own time and share it out. And of course I'll put it on my page as well. So look at the old videos. Take time. This is a time now for inner reflection, okay? So everything's going to start to slow down because there's going to be a lot of inner reflection that we're going to be doing. There's times in our spiritual journey where there's a lot of movement, but then there's times when we need to take a step back and we need to observe, okay? And to be still. Okay, Cookie's on. Hey, Cookie. Welcome. Hold on, I'm going to turn my music on. Okay, so hopefully that goes on. Let's see. I have some nice shaman music playing in the background. Okay, so what you're going to discover, during this time that we take a step back, they have been talking to me the last week about when you come to a place of absolute emptiness, this is where you become whole. So with everything that is going on, that slowing things down, being, in quarantine for some of us, or not going out as much, this is when there is complete emptiness, and this is where you come between integration of wholeness. So Susan is saying, yeah, going with the flow, watching the water, the birds, the ponds, wherever you find them. Absolutely. Okay, so what we're going to discover when we get into that place of absolute nothingness, okay, is integration, because that's when you become whole. That's the stillness that I was talking about. It is essential for those of you who are on the ascension path, and I know Cookie, you had this question earlier. For those of us who are on the ascension path, it is essential for your transformation to hold both of these polarities, okay, in that space. The paradigm, in order to ascend, is to shift from the polarities and hold both polarities simultaneously. That is the emptiness, that is the wholeness. Because one polarity to the other and coming into that integration. So having no preference over another. Emptiness and wholeness is in all forms, right? It's literally the containing energy of the universe, really. So the living paradox is to be the point of power and choosing not one over the other. Okay, we don't want to choose one polarity over the other, okay? Going with the flow, restriction. We want to come to that central point, that integration, the emptiness, the wholeness, okay? The mind, I wrote some of these things down. The mind wants to process, right? Because we're mental beings. We're sentient beings, but a lot of us are in the mental body, into the left brain. And to process this, they view their reality by choosing one polarity over the other. See, that's how the mental brain works. It wants to put, form into something. It wants to, have all your ducks in a row, right? In a sense. The mind cannot grasp two opposing forces which can coexist simultaneously, right? So if you see now, I'm going to tie this all together why I'm going through this living paradox of these two poles, the stillness versus the emptiness, and the, all that is at the same time. The truth exists. The real truth, the real spiritual truth exists within these polarized perceptions. So yes, Susan is saying, going slower now. We're moving into a time of slowing down, right? Slowing down with being forced maybe to slow down. That's usually when change really happens the most, when we are forced to change. So you're seeing this now globally. What is changing? Everything is changing. How they run the healthcare system, how they communicate, all of these things. Think about the bigger picture than what is happening right now in the middle of that, right? Just think about the bigger picture of what can happen when all countries unite. I speak about this. All people unite and we realize we are one. So we have to have this breaking down of what is going on in order to, have that everything and nothing, and holding both of those poles in that 0 point space, actually. That's where we hold that. Okay. Shifting will help you unlock your blocks, your limiting beliefs around polarity. So that is something that they wanted me to talk about too. Okay, now, I love talking about my my highlight beings that are working with us. Melchizedek came in the other week along with the Arcturian energy, and they were talking about this balance. There you go. Balancing between the polarities, balancing between, being grounded and being in the flow. So their energy, collective energy, they're the archangel energy. This is why I connect very deeply with the archangel, the angel realm, through the Arcturians. And although they have been working with us, the Andromeda energy started to really come in, and they came in when I was doing that meditation the other night very strongly. They worked on our throats, if I am correct with that. I got done with that meditation. I had the most really intense sore throat, not linking it together. And I was like, oh, okay, what's happening? The throat chakra holds change, the fear of change. When you are going through a dramatic change in your life, and even in the collective, or even in the world, we feel it in our throat chakra. So for many of you might feel this tightness in your throat and not understanding why. You can actually physically have a sore throat. It represents the change, and this is why the Andromeda energy came in, because they want to help us through this big change that is happening with all of these structures that I talked about at the beginning of the Facebook Live. Yes, Melchizedek. He is a wonderful, wonderful esoteric teacher. He is a cosmic priest. So he's bringing in this cosmic energy. Now, when you interface with an Andromedan energy, they are pure consciousness. Okay, first of all. And think about what the Hopis were coming in. They always ground things in the middle of, at the beginning of these Facebook Lives, and then they save the, I guess, that very high light energies coming in at the end, right? So the Hopi energy coming in and grounding. The Andromeda energy is a very high level of consciousness. It is fluid. There is nothing with the Andromeda energy that is consistent. Everything is constantly changing. When I taught the galactic classes, Peggy McGee, yay, she's joining, and Bonnie, my friend, oh gosh, hi Bonnie, how are you? Hi Regina, everybody's coming on now. When you interface, I don't want to talk too much because I will lose my train of thought. When I was teaching the galactic classes, I was talking about how we are shifting through all of these different perspectives and all this different reality, because the Andromeda energy, a good example of them is, okay, so we go through the same route every day when we go to work, right? We see we go to 7-Eleven, we see the same people in 7-Eleven, and we get in our car and we see maybe some of the same cars on the road, and then you get to work and you see the same people. Everything in our reality is like consistent, and people like consistent because they are fear of change. So yeah, so Diane has been saying that her throat has been hurting for a month. So yeah, very dry feeling. This is all that energy being cleared. Okay, so you're traveling on your day-to-day, busy, schedule. Everything stays the same with, relative couple little things that change, but for more or less, it stays the same. The Andromeda energy, they're driving down the road and, that school bus turns into an airplane, they're driving down the road and a person turns into a tree. It is that flowing, non-conformed, always free-flowing energy of their reality. And Carolyn is on. Hi, honey. That is what their frequency is teaching us and assisting us during this change. The only thing, they literally brought this saying, the only thing that is constant is change, right? So if we have 1 foot here grounded with those Hopis, right, or, just grounded earth energy, I'm just using what I was talking about, and we have the Andromeda energy, they are flow. So this is why they were saying to me earlier, 1 foot on the ground, 1 foot in the water. Okay, so you got your grounded energy and you got your flowing energy. Okay, so this kind of all makes sense, right? So many people have fear of change, and this is everything that is being stirred up in the collective, because everything is uncertain right now. Everything that everybody has ever known and put it in their, their little compartments, and that makes them feel safe, that makes them feel secure, all their ducks in a row, going through the 3D life, everything, going to work, seeing the same things. This is now what is being thrown up, and, a lot of people are feeling that. Why we need to hold the space of peace and anchor this energy for this, so we can assist with everything that's going on. Your safe harbor, when your inner reality is like knows that everything, the reality is ever changing, then you will be internally grounded. It's like if you were to, you know, we have the grounded gravity that takes us and grounds us to the earth. Just imagine if you were going to go up to the moon or go into another star system, you know, who knows if that will ever come. But you're going to need to rely on that inner groundedness when there's no gravity, right? So just like think about that. You need to have your inner reality so grounded so that when all these things are changing and going on, that you stay in that place. Like if you were going to go into another time and place and have no gravity. That's where your safe harbor is, okay? You won't have confusion. You won't have disorientation, right? Because you'll be so inner grounded. You will know that the reality is ever changing because you're going to be in flow with all of these changes. So just pay attention to that, okay? Just pay attention, because I've slipped into that little fear every now and again, and I get easily out of it. It's like, okay, there's a lot changing, but I have such understanding and such peace to know that this is all happening for a reason, and these structures need to come down, and we are being rebuilt in a new consciousness, right? So all of this is to trust in the flow of what is happening. That is what the Hopi prophecy is really all about, you know, to trust and let the water take you where it needs to go. It's not resisting. It's just, and if it helps, and when I do that drumming meditation, we're gonna see ourselves just letting go of the riverbeds and flowing down. So really wonderful. Fear of change is connected to attachment, no doubt. I mean, I can give you the example of when I used to fly. I used to take my whole house with me. I had to have all my rocks, all my cards, all my statues, all of the things that brought like from my home attached to my security here when I had agoraphobia, when I couldn't leave home because I was afraid of everything and afraid of all the changes. I actually literally was afraid of wind. Like I used to joke, like, are you kidding? Like, what's next? An anxiety of air? There actually is a phobia against air. But I had a phobia against wind because of what it represented. And it represented change, the winds of change. And that scared the shit out of me because I was not grounded. So do you see how all this is like playing into what you may have gone through, what you are going through, or the people that are around you? So yes, so Regina is saying we cannot control what is happening anymore. We'll go with the flow. That's right, my friend. All right. So with this fear, like I was saying, fear of change, that's the throat chakra. Survival fears are attached to that. Isolation. I know some people, I had that too, you know, feeling claustrophobic or, oh my God, I'm stuck at home. I can't go out. That's fear, and that's connected to attachment. Do the meditation that we did the other night, because we released all that and all the fear of attachments to suffering. There's this energy right now because so many people are suffering, and you are in your memory from lifetimes that have passed. We all have suffered in other lifetimes, and this lifetime too for some of us, right? So what is now happening? You're seeing that, you're relating that, and you're reacting to that. So you can be now having old things, or even just this place of discomfort and anxiety along with the suffering, because this is part of what needs to be healed within you. Okay, this is part of what I was saying with Jeremiah coming in at the beginning of the year. You understand, Ariel came in. She came in and said, holy crap, things are going to be changing. You're going to have so many new directions. We're not going to know what they are. And wow, talk about what's going on with all of the change and direction. Then we had Jophiel come in. She was talking about keeping your thoughts aligned, keeping it positive. Then Jeremiah came in. I have been very busy. Jeremiah came in and he was talking about your life review, taking a step back, helping you understand to move through all of these, problems, to have resolve, to have clarity, to have vision, to see the bigger picture. So you see now why all these energies have been coming to me and I've been sharing them out. They're all flowing. There you go. Dun-dun-dun. They're all flowing together and working together. And that to me is extremely comforting and peaceful, knowing that they're all here and they're helping us embrace this ever-changing reality that we are moving through. Now, for some of you, when I was talking about the polarities and the Andromedans and what they're talking about with the change, many of us go through bouncing back to these polarities. And they were talking like, give them the example of one moment, I'm divine, I'm multidimensional, I feel all of this, I feel one with everything. And then in the next moment, you could be like, I don't feel any connection with spirit. I'm like, where did everything go? I feel completely separate from spirit. Those are the polarities. When you can hold both of those poles and really be comfortable in that, that's when you become whole. That, my friends, is spiritual ascension right there. Right there when you're holding both of those poles. Okay? The paradox of being a vast multidimensional being, but also a 3D matter-based person. That's really what both of those poles are. Instead of trying to be in one extreme or the other, you need to come and integrate. That's the wholeness and the emptiness of the wholeness, the macro, the micro, however you want to, look at that. So, there's no time on here. I don't know how long I've been talking, but let's go through the card spread, okay? So if any of you have any other questions, just shoot me, a message afterwards, and I'll try to get back to you either tonight or tomorrow. But just remember, we're all in this together. This is a rhyme to the reason, to what is happening. Look at your fears, what they're showing you. If you feel that fear is coming up, then you've now bounced into one aspect of a polarity. Okay, do your grounding work. I'll put up that meditation, tomorrow, a grounding. I'm going to do a little drumming, and look for on my YouTube page. I'm going to be doing the unified chakra meditation. That's like, basically when your chakras are all out of alignment from just anything, being around somebody who knocks your chakras out, being upset, being frustrated, being, nervous or anxious, and it just brings you back into that unity of light. So that's coming sometime within the next couple of days. So if you subscribe to my channel, you'll get notifications. It's Gem Posts Blue Star Channelings. I'm going to be doing a Arcturian healing chamber. I think it's the 26th of next week. If you want to join in on that, I can send you the information to a private page, and we can just do Venmo. But that's going to be with the Arcturian healing chamber to release, many, many things across many lifetimes and timelines. Okay, so so Regina's saying, going back and forth, no doubt, bouncing between those polarities. Okay, so so card number 1, if you guys did not pick one from the beginning of my post, just say in your mind right now, card number 1, card number 2, card number 3. Don't think about it, just whatever comes up. All right. I swear to God, I love this stuff. So what was I talking about? This is winter solstice reflection. We didn't really have a winter. I kind of like when we get snowstorms because things slows down and I can reflect. And we had a very busy winter because a lot of things didn't slow down. Now we're having the time to kind of take a step back and reflect, and that's what I was talking about with, the Hopi prophecy, taking that time, and Archangel Jeremiah taking that time, reflection. Okay, so this is the time for us to go still, reflect. What are your fears? Are you connecting to the fear that is going on? Your security and your safety is being threatened. right? So this is a normal human response during something like this. But you also now take this inner reflection and go a little deeper. Go a little deeper. Call in the highlight. Call in Archangel Jeremiah to help you, to guide you to what within that, within you, within your inner child, within your inner self needs more understanding and more integration. Okay, so for those of you who chose card number 1, that's what that means. Okay, card number 2. Okay, card number 2. We got childhood. I just literally just said that. Innocence. That is connecting to the child within. Let it guide you. Use your reflection to go in to see, maybe there's a part of your child within that is still in fear or experienced fear, separation, isolation, all of those shadow selves, parts of ourselves, that through inner reflection comes, the inner child, this innocence, through darkness comes light, right? So here's, again, we can tie it in with you have the complete emptiness, you have wholeness. So it's all interconnecting. And my friend Steve's joining. Oh, hi. Thanks for coming on. All right. So these already, reflection and card number 2. I always say this in every Facebook Live that I do. Even though you individually pick a card at the beginning, it's still a collective message for those, because I set that intention. Set the intention for everybody who's going to be watching. What's the collective message? Okay. All right. So card number 3 is unfoldment. So here's the heart chakra, unfolding the heart chakra, things that are happening now, this breaking down, everything that's going on, it needs to unfold. Go in the flow, it's in the water, okay? The lotus, if you know about the lotus, it comes up out of the mud, out of the dark comes the light, out of inner reflection comes understanding. And again, I'm going to say it, out of emptiness becomes wholeness. If you take anything away from this Facebook Live, I want that drilled into your head. Okay? Hear my words, see my face, I'll be that little, what do they call that? The earworm? I'll be the little earworm in your ear, going, emptiness is wholeness. All right, I'm being silly. But try to, during this time, like I said in the beginning, for those of you who are joining, later, rewind this, watch from the beginning, because everything, flows into one another. But take the time to remember, laughing is a high vibration. Okay, it can look what happened at 9/11, friends, right? We needed laughter to bring us back. So, during these tough times, we need to come together. We need to remember to laugh and be grateful. Gratitude is the highest form of prayer that you can practice. Being grateful for us connecting here, for you having time with your family. We've been so busy and caught up in our world, now we're kind of having to take a step back and have to minimize, have to be simplistic. Take this time to go inward, take this time to be with your family, stay safe, of course, take precautions. I've been saying this all along. Yes, Samantha's saying, thank you so much. Emptiness is wholeness. She needed to hear that. So perfect. I love you guys. Any questions? Just shoot me a little message after. I thank you for joining. Please go and stay safe. Have your family stay safe. And I will hopefully get up that meditation with the drumming. If not tomorrow, maybe tomorrow night or the next day. I got a couple of Akashic readings to do tomorrow. So, and I just wanted to say, I put a post out. If you need energy work, if you're feeling really out of balance, I do these remote healings. I'm not saying this just to, do a plug or anything. I want people to understand that you do not need to be physically here to have these healings. Their energy is energy. And if you understand truly how energy works, you will know that. You know, if I can connect and you can connect to, you know, all different light beings and the Akashic realm and all of that, that's energy, right? When souls are coming to you and they've crossed over, you're connecting to their energy. So if you do need a healing, just reach out to me. We would do it remotely. It'll still be the same conduct as if you were here in person, only you will be in the comfort of your own bed or, you know, table or floor. That actually might even be even better. All right, guys. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Keep sending out that anchoring peace, that anchoring groundedness into the collective. Keep your vibration high by laughter, by joy, by connecting to that peace within, connecting to the Andromedan energy. If you feel yourself getting a little rocked, call them in. They'll interface with you, and call in the Hopi energy or any other energy that you resonate with. Call you in to just shift you back into alignment, okay? All right, so namaste. Stay safe, and I will talk to all of you soon. All right, bye guys. Blessings.